Well, college teams are preparing for the fall sports season, and just last week, an offensive lineman at Kansas State was rushed to the hospital after having a medical emergency at the team's training center.
Here in the Ozarks, teams will start practicing for fall sports on August 11th. Chris Bryant looks at what steps local teams take to make sure students are safe while practicing in the heat and humidity.
It's a dangerous time of year with heat and humidity here in the Ozarks. So just having those conversations, making sure we have protocols in place.
Clever and Harrison both say the call on whether to practice outside is on their athletic trainers. Both use what is known as a wet bulb technique to make sure it's safe to practice outdoors.
And she sets it up at each practice location and she gets a reading, and then based on that reading, we'll either be in the green, the yellow, the orange, the red, or the black, and each one of those comes with its own set of restrictions, whether that be number of mandated breaks or gear that players can wear when it comes to football.
USA Football says heat stroke happens when the body reaches 104 degrees. Signs include dizziness, confusion, and irrational behavior, but can also lead to a player collapsing, developing seizures, or slipping into a coma. The first few weeks of practice are critical.
We don't know what these kids have been doing all summer. Ideally, they've been coming to summer workouts. They've been getting outside.
Josh Bell is the manager of sports medicine with Mercy in Springfield. He says that while students want to perform at their best, it's important to watch for the warning signs and taking steps between practices.
Parents can make sure their kids are getting lots of water. They're getting lots of rest. Obviously with teenagers, having them go to bed at a decent hour, getting plenty of sleep, eating lots of food. That's going to be very important. Staying away from highly caffeinated, highly sugared drinks.
Making sure your student athlete is physically healthy enough for sports is just as important, and that starts with their physicals.
There's a lot going on at a child's wellness visit. These are not only an important time for us to make sure that children are up to date on the necessary vaccines and the requirements for school, but also their healthcare provider, their primary care provider, is taking a close look at your child and listening to their heart, listening to their lungs, make sure that they're really ready for the game.
If you think your student athlete is suffering from the signs of heat exhaustion or heat stroke, it's best to take them to seek medical treatment immediately.
There's definitely a compounded effect that we're seeing, and from days and days, and we're seeing this in football players particularly, maybe a heat rash, paleness, increased thirst. These are signs of heat exhaustion, and they really need to be addressed quickly. So as soon as possible, if you or your child, if you notice someone that's experiencing those symptoms, want to make sure that we move them to a cool place.
In the newsroom, Chris Bryant, KY3 News.